Hi guys, I hope you're all well. What a kind of month it's already been, and it's only been a week. But yeah, this next review is by a band that I kind of stumbled upon, and ever since I've absolutely adored. It's Tribulation's Down Below. Now, Tribulation kind of wowed me back when they released Children of the Night in 2015. For those who've never heard of Tribulation before, the best way I can describe it is it's kind of the black metal kind of atmosphere, but with a kind of 70s rock vibe, if that makes sense. So sort of almost like classic rock. So the album opens up with the Lament, and it's the perfect kind of like opener for the record. And I think that, you know, that opening kind of, it's a perfect encapsulation of what the album is going to sound like. You know, both of the guitarists, Adam and Jonathan, they're like this sort of undead Thin Lizzy with the harmonies that they bring together, particularly in the likes of Nightbound. And you know, but previously I mentioned that there was kind of like a 70s style. Here it's almost like kind of 80s, you know, there's almost kind of guitar effects and guitar tones that I would expect to hear, you know, in like classic 80s, you know, Bon Jovi and things like that. And it's got that sort of glam with it, but it's got the real kind of like the real atmosphere of the underworld, which is what I love the most about the album, is that it kind of takes you on a journey. So from the second that you press play, you are literally in this world that Tribulation inhabit. For example, you've got the second single, Lady Death, which is kind of a bit more faster track. But then, you know, it doesn't say that they haven't got any aggression, because they've got Lacrimosa, which sounds like Motorhead with eyeliner. You know, it's like you know, the one which is on Overkill pretty much. And they kind of channel that sort of 70s, 80s vibe, but then bring in this completely new identity, which is Tribulation down to a T. You can actually hear Johannes Andersson's vocals, and they're not just like, you know, it's like when he says down below, you could imagine him, you know, peering down like a gargoyle. They just understand where you can use space, and you can also use silence as well. And there are some killer guitar solos on this album as well. Nightbound is one. Subterranea, I think, is probably my favourite track on the album, which starts off with this kind of ominous John Carpenter style piano. Yeah, it's just got this real spookiness to it, you know, like Black Sabbath spookiness. Do you remember the first time you heard Black Sabbath, the actual song, and that ominous chord that Iommi plays came in, and you were just like, holy shit, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's kind of, it's really well thought out, the way that it kind of has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And even Purgatorio, which is kind of, it's just a little instrumental, but it's only 3 minutes and it doesn't drag on. You know, it does what it needs to do, and it probably gets you from side A to side B. And it absorbs you from beginning to end, right up till the end of Here Be Dragons, which is the longest track on the album. And I feel that the dynamics on the record are probably one of the biggest things that you'll notice. To be totally honest, I think the reason that I enjoyed this album so much is because Tribulation, you know, it's going to sound really like cheesy, but they do kind of transcend just the album. You know, you listen to the album and you're immediately kind of, you're there, you're with that little gargoyle peering over from the shadows, and you're not, you know, it's got everything that me, especially as a horror fan, I love. I've got an interview with the guitarist Adam Zars, which is coming out on my blog, themetaltrust.com, next week. And he mentioned that, you know, I always thought that they were quite a jam kind of band, you know, because it's got this really loose, organic sort of style to it. But apparently it's really meticulous. But I think it's genius that, you know, they've got this meticulous way of creating songs, yet it sounds so organic. If Dracula had an iPod, this definitely would be on it. This is absolutely phenomenal musicianship, absolutely brilliant songwriting. You know, the atmosphere is 10 out of 10 from the word go. It's just as good, if not better, than Children of the Night. So if you're a Tribulation fan, you've got some serious good stuff to look forward to. And that's why I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 5, because it's brilliant. I reckon that it's definitely going to be on a lot of people's end of year lists. Tribulation's brand new album, Down Below, is out on the 26th of January via Century Media, and you can pre-order it underneath me. So if you liked this video, please make sure that you give me a like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Alright, bye.